Hello, friends. Welcome to our first video of 2025. So, I wanted to talk about cards that stump us, cards that give us problems when they pop up. I've been reading for, over 25 years, and there are still cards that will challenge me. And they change. They change from time to time. Right now, I'm struggling with the Five of Swords. Next week could be something totally different. So I thought I would look at some ways to deal with that when that happens. And I asked you for what cards are stumping you. And so we have the Emperor, the Seven of Cups, and the Chariot that are giving people problems right now. So let's take a look. So we'll start with our Emperor. Here's our traditional Rider-Waite-Smith Emperor. And let's just talk about the traditional meaning of this, right? So he is obviously somebody in a position of authority. He's wearing his armor. He's ready to go into battle, but he's not currently in battle. He's actually quite relaxed, but he's prepared. He is outside, sitting on his throne with our Aries rams. So usually this points to, it could be at a very basic level, two different things. Can be an authoritarian figure in your life, a boss, this is the card of the father, um, somebody just in a position of power, or it can be those attributes. Are you leaning into your authority, your expertise? Are you prepared for what may come at you? So sometimes that doesn't make sense though. So the first thing I like to do is I'll go to different resources and just read, go, back old school, grab some books, and read about their interpretations. Obviously, you can look it up online. I like books, because as AI continues to progress, I feel like the meanings are just going to get so saturated and flat online, but that's just me. Anyway, so what I like to do is take a very basic book. This is the book I learned to read on. I love it. So let's look up what they have to say about the emperor in here. Here we go. Okay. Keyword, I realize. Ruled by Aries, some positive attributes: balance, stability, leadership, authority, father image, knowledge, action, power, truth. So those all kind of fit in with what we were looking at. But then we read the description. The emperor is a symbol of balanced mental activity. Oh, that's something new, right? We didn't get that from the first glance. He is experience and authority by virtue of his age and position. The emperor is wisdom and kindness shown by his passive attitude, but he is dressed for action. He is the father figure. Um, and so when he appears upright in a spread, we have desire for balance, realization, and action, ability to use authority wisely, leadership qualities tempered with love. And here's where it gets interesting. In these old school books, sometimes they're very specific, right? Real estate buying or selling, home issues resolved, mental abilities used before action taken, ambition with energy to accomplish goals. So there's some different nuances there, right? Now, if I went to 78 degrees of wisdom, this is this book, I love this book. It is not a beginner's book. It is definitely gets deep, deep, deep into the meanings. So let's just pick out a sentence or two about this. Um, see. Uh, Even at its best, the emperor remains limited. Over the spontaneity of the empress, He has laid a network of repression. If we lose touch with our passions, then life becomes cold and barren. Um, because of the father's role in teaching us acceptably social behavior, people who are trapped at the level of emperor are often people who have never really accepted the ordinary humanity of their father, right? So some deep shit here. So it depends what you want. Now, the other thing to do is to look at the card that's giving you problems, look at it in other decks. So I pulled from Tarot of Curious Creatures, and now Karen, this is Karen's card. I know she hates this deck, but we're looking at it anyway. We have a walrus, right? So he has his tusks that are right now they're not being used, but if he needs to, he can. He's wearing a suit that speaks to his authority. He's sitting in a comfy chair. So that gives us some pointers as to the that feels more on the authoritarian side. Then on in Light Seers, here we have this guy. I like his stance. Again, the relaxed, right? He is kind of just chilling. And he's on the chessboard and he has the chess piece. So he's ready to move. He's ready to make a move when he needs to, but he's not stressed about it right now. So different ways, different cards can give you different perspectives. Now, the next one we had was Seven of Cups. So traditionally, let me pull out that card. Okay, here's our traditional Seven of Cups. So we have the figure, his back is to us. He's looking up in the clouds, and there's all these different cups filled with all different things. So, our traditional meaning is about choice. And is your head in the clouds? And so you can't make a choice? Or is this a time to daydream? So, again, let's look at some basic descriptions. I'll look at this book this time. Okay. This The Seven of Cups signifies a time of great creative potential, along with the energy to make use of it. So that's kind of different, right? Many options are available. The difficulty is in choosing the right one. This card is about fantasy and imagination. You are looking at a number of possibilities now, too many to make an easy choice. With so many choices, you are living out different roles in your imagination, but having a hard time deciding which to manifest in reality. All right, so that's kind of putting the onus on you about what choice to make and how to approach it and kind of get your head out of the clouds. Now let's look at the more in-depth esoteric description. Let's see here. Hold on. Okay. Emotion and imagination can produce wonderful visions, but without grounding in both action and the outer realities of life, these fantastic images remain daydreams, fancies without real meaning or value. It is a mistake to think that daydreams are meaningless because of their content. On the contrary, they often spring from deep archetypal needs and images. So, still pretty similar. But then we're going to look at two different cards. So, from the Curious Creatures, here he is. He's looking, same kind of deal. He's looking at his options. His options are a little different. They're very funny. It's kind of hard to see. Um, but in this card, he's facing us, right? So how does that change the feeling for you? Does one make you feel more enabled or empowered? Um, Just questions to ask. And then in Light Seers, we have kind of a different approach here, right? He's clearly he's making a decision, but all of his cups are upside down, almost like it's like let's make a deal. He does not know what is underneath those cups. Will he pull one and he's going to get the dragon, or is he going to pull one and get like the jewels? He doesn't know. So that's a very different way of looking at it. Here, he knows what his options are. Here, he does not. So, um, and how does that feel? Like this one to me feels a little like, oh, I have like a whole menu of things to choose from. I'm at the diner and I can pick breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Here, I'm like, this is like uh, a grab bag and I could get a gift card or I could get fuzzy socks. So depends on your deck. All right. And then our last one was the Chariot. It's our traditional card. He is sitting in his chariot. The city is behind him. He's ready to rock and roll. Then we have duality. We have black and white. We have, I forget what this thing is called, but it symbolizes male, female. Um, so symmetry, opposites, black and white. So, but he's ready to move forward. The chariot, often associated with transportation, movement. So let's read about the chariot. No, I'm going the wrong way. Some books have all the majors together. This one has like the major and then the minors and then the major and then the minors. Okay. So the chariot, keyword, the path, right? So that's interesting. We're not talking about the actual chariot here. We're talking about what is in front of him. The chariot is the physical vehicle which must be mentally directed. There are no reins to guide the senses. This implies that each person must use control with their mind over all experiences of their lives. The wheels of the chariot signify cycles and indicate changes. The moon on the shoulders of the charioteer refers to subconscious emotions and old habit patterns of thinking which must be transformed. The white and black sphinxes are a blend of self-consciousness, subconsciousness, masculine and feminine energies. So that is much more symbolic, right? So upright in a spread, now is the time to use mental powers to control destiny and be victorious. Direct your energies on the path, then take action. The charioteer is your higher self. Trust him to guide you in all affairs. So there you go. And oh, I meant to read the other more practical parts. Forgot about that. Sorry. Okay. Okay, yeah, the more practical. Use sexual energy wisely, take a trip, right? So would you have gotten that out of this? Maybe, maybe not. So let's look at our other examples. Here we have, he's on a bicycle. We do have the black and white. Um, we do have the city in the background. Here we see more of the path, like he's farther away, right? He's gone, he's out of here. And he seems a little happier. he seems a little more on his way. And then with the light seers, again, black and white. So that tells us that that's an important part of this card, duality. Um, and here he's more like along for the ride, right? He definitely does not have the reins. He's just kind of hanging on. And that's like scary. That position looks a little frightening. Um, oh, and I didn't read this one, so let's read the deeper esoteric version. Okay. Oh, here we go. The symbol on the front of the tarot chariot, like a nut and bolt or a wheel and axle, is called the lignum and ionum, standing for Shiva, the masculine principle, and Parvati, the feminine principle. So there you go, if you're into that stuff. So here's a good point. Like the magician, the charioteer carries a magic wand. Unlike the magician, he does not raise it above his hand to heaven. His power is subordinate to his will. His hands hold no reins. His strong character alone controls the opposing forces in life. Let's see. I think that's what I want to say about that. In a reading, this card signifies that the person is successfully controlling some situation through the force of his or her personality. So interesting, very personality oriented, right? So very much about the person. And is that you? Is that another person that you're doing or reading that it involves? There's so much, right? This is the beauty of tarot. It is not just a prescribed definition. Um, as you know, I'm very much in line with you have to know what the cards are. Tarot is a set system. It is not oracle cards where it can be anything that you imagine. There is a basic meaning to the cards. However, that basic meaning is not just it, right? So I just wanted to explore this idea of if a card is giving you a problem, explore different meanings, read about it, look at different cards, different aspects of it. Does one symbol stand out? Is it about you or is it about someone around you? Even if you're just doing a reading for yourself, maybe it's the influence of another person. So don't ignore those difficult cards. It's easy to be like, if that card comes up in a reading, to be like, I'm not even going to pay attention to that. I mean, trust me, I've been there. I'll be like, okay, we don't need to talk about that one right now. But if it's giving you a problem, it needs to have a dialogue with this, so that you can move on to the next card that's going to give you a problem. It never ends. So try it out. Let me know what you think. Play around with it. See if any of the definitions or any of the symbolism can bring about a new way of understanding this card. And let me know. Okay, have a good day, everybody.